When people hear survival gear, they picture tactical backpacks, $200 to $300 bug-out bags, and fancy gear you only see in Hollywood. But here's the truth that no one likes to admit. When things go bad, when the lights go out, or store shelves run dry, it's not the flashy gear that saves you. It's the boring, cheap, often overlooked stuff you walked past 100 times at the dollar store. If you're living on Social Security, raising 3 kids on a tight grocery budget, or scraping by in college, prepping for emergencies might feel impossible. But it's not. In fact, some of the smartest preppers know that the most powerful survival items cost less than a cup of coffee, and they're sitting right there at Dollar Tree or Family Dollar, waiting to be picked up for a buck or two. Today, we're breaking down $7 store items that become absolute lifesavers in a real emergency. These aren't gimmicks. These are real tools that can keep you warm, dry, fed, and safe, all while sticking to a tight budget. Let's stop waiting for someone else to fix things. Let's prep smarter, not more expensive. Ustumukwaig on zip ties. Small tools, massive impact. You probably have a few zip ties laying around your junk drawer, toolbox, or glove compartment. But in a true emergency, these humble plastic strips become one of the most versatile survival tools you can carry, and they cost less than a candy bar. Here's why they matter. Zip ties are fast, strong, and silent. No knots, no tangles, no frustration, just one click and it's locked. That makes them perfect for older adults with limited hand strength, or anyone trying to secure gear quickly, even in the dark or under pressure. You can use zip ties to patch up torn backpacks or hold busted zippers closed, strap tools or water bottles to a stroller, walker, or bike bundle firewood, food pouches, or wires. Lock your pantry, cooler, or medicine cabinet shut. Rig up temporary fences or shelters with tarps and poles. They're also great for barter. In a grid-down situation, people will be desperate for simple, dependable tools. A clean zip tie bundle becomes instant trade value, especially for folks who can't afford to waste rope. And here's the best part. They weigh almost nothing. Toss a handful in your bigwee, car, or kitchen drawer. You won't even notice them until the moment you desperately need them. Zip ties are the quiet MVPs of prepping. Cheap, invisible, and incredibly powerful, especially for people prepping on a budget. 2. Plastic tablecloth. The dollar store shelter kit. It might look like cheap party decor, but that $1 plastic tablecloth sitting in the birthday aisle? In a real emergency, it turns into one of the most versatile, life-saving tools you can have, especially if you live in an apartment or mobile home. Plastic tablecloths are water-resistant, windproof, lightweight, and packable. Everything you want in survival gear. And for folks living on fixed incomes or tight budgets, this is an unbeatable solution. Caught in the rain and need a shelter? Drape it over a clothesline or rope and boom. Instant tent. Is your roof leaking? Tape the tablecloth up as a quick water barrier. Sleeping on cold, damp ground? Lay it down as a waterproof floor or insulation layer. You can also cut it into strips to use as cord, tarp patches, or gear wraps. Make a poncho by cutting a head hole in the middle. Use it as a clean food prep surface. Turn it into a rainwater catcher. Cut and trade pieces in a barter situation. Clean plastic is survival gold when hygiene breaks down. Even more, a brightly colored tablecloth can double as a distress signal or trail marker if you're trying to be found. And it takes up less space than a sandwich bag in your backpack. For just $1, this piece of plastic can keep you dry, safe, and alive without breaking the bank. 3. Disposable foam plates and cups. Hygiene when it matters most. To most people, foam cups and plates are throwaway party supplies. But in a grid-down or no-water situation, they instantly become one of the smartest survival hacks, especially for families, retirees, and anyone who can't afford to waste time, water, or fuel on cleanup. Think about it. In an emergency, running water might be gone. You won't want to waste precious drinking water washing dishes. That's where foam comes in. Use once, toss, stay safe. Here's why it matters. No need for washing. which means less risk of illness. Lightweight and compact. Fits in any go bag, pantry, or glove box. Insulates hot or cold. Great for keeping soup warm or drinks cool. Can be used as makeshift funnels, scoops, or wind blockers for candles or stoves. Stack under shaky pots or tools to level out cooking surfaces or absorb shock. For older folks or parents with young kids, not having to scrub plates or boil water for sanitation is huge. It's also a morale boost at these synonymous. Clean dishes mean a little normalcy when everything else feels chaotic. And don't forget barter. Clean plates and cups are worth more than you think when sickness is spreading and supplies are scarce. For a few bucks, you can store weeks' worth of clean eating options. Bottom line, foam might be light, but in a real crisis, it carries serious weight. 4. Mini bungee cords. Fast, flexible, and foolproof. When things start falling apart, literally mini bungee cords step in as your first line of control. These tiny tension tools might not look like much, but they're one of the most underrated survival items you can find at the dollar store. And the best part? They're perfect for people who don't want to mess with knots or complex gear setups. Just hook and go. Whether you're a student hauling gear, a mom juggling supplies, or a retiree who wants simplicity, these cords deliver. Use them to lash tarps into fast shelters or rain covers. Hang food or clothes away from pests and damp ground. Reinforce broken backpack straps or luggage handles. Strap a flashlight to a walking stick or a fence post. Set up a quick clothesline indoors or between trees. Organize cords, tools, or emergency kits. Unlike bulky ropes, mini bungees are compact and easy to work with, even in the dark or with gloves on. And because they come in multi-packs, you can carry several without taking up space. They're also fantastic for barter. Most people forget them, but once systems break down, folks scramble for anything that helps them secure gear or build shelter. And your extra bungee cords become instant trade tools. In emergencies, speed matters, and nothing beats the snap-and-go power of these little cords. At $1 a pack, they're a steal, and a smart move for any budget prepper. 5. Duct-Tape Roll Core. The power of what's left behind. Everyone knows duct tape is a prepper essential, but what happens when the roll runs out? Most folks toss the empty cardboard tube without a second thought. Big mistake, because in a true crisis, even the leftovers matter. That empty core is more than trash. It's lightweight, durable, and multifunctional, especially when you're working with limited resources, something many families know all too well. Here's what you can do with it. Fire starter. Tear it into strips, fluff the fibers, and you've got dry, easy-to-light tinder, cordage spool, wrap twine, paracord, or even fishing line around it to stay organized. Padding. Flatten and tape it to your shoes or bag straps for emergency cushioning. Tool guard. Slide sharp tools or small blades inside to prevent injury or wear. Funnel. Cut it diagonally to pour rice, beans, or powdered drink mix cleanly. Light diffuser. Set a flashlight inside the tube to soften the beam at night, perfect for shared shelters or bedrooms. In a barter economy, items like these are low-key valuable. Most people throw them out until they realize their potential. Stockpile a few, bundle them in threes, and you've got an unexpected trade good. Prepping isn't always about buying more. It's about seeing value where others see junk. And nothing proves that better than a cardboard duct tape core. Tier 6, old garden hose. Not just for watering plant anymore. You know that cracked, faded garden hose sitting in the corner of your yard or garage? Most people see it as junk. But in an emergency, it can become a multi-tool powerhouse you'll be glad you didn't throw away. Start with the obvious. It's hollow, flexible, and waterproof. That makes it a great tool for moving water from one place to another without needing heavy containers. Need to siphon water from a rain barrel or stream? A hose lets gravity do the work. Cut it into smaller sections, and suddenly you've got padding for tool, handles or backpack straps, fuel or liquid funnels for transferring gas, oil, or even drinking water, protective sleeves to keep sharp tools from tearing your gear, cord covers so ropes don't fray or burn under tension, insulation around tent poles, shelter supports, or cold surfaces. You can also rig up tension clamps by threading rope through the hose and pulling tight. It protects the cord and gives you a cleaner hold. Ideal for tarps, canopies, or makeshift stretchers. Even in medical situations, hose pieces can serve as splint supports or makeshift limb separators. And let's not forget communication. Yep, you can use a long hose as a crude speaking tube in close quarters or across walls in a shelter setup. It's not pretty, but it works when nothing else does. This isn't garden trash. It's practical, flexible survival gear, and you already own it. 7. Aluminum baking tray. Lightweight metal that does it all. Aluminum baking trays are usually seen as throwaway cookware for potlucks and baked ziti. But in a survival situation, they're one of the most versatile tools you can score for just a buck or two. First off, they're made of thin aluminum, which means they're heat-safe, reflective, lightweight, and easy to shape. That opens up a ton of real-world uses when you're off-grid or the power's out. Here's what one tray can do. Serve as a cooking surface over a fire, camp stove, or even on hot coals. Hold water for boiling or purification. Line with plastic wrap to make a rain or dew collector. Flip upside down and use as a heat reflector to stay warm or dry socks. Near a candle, create a sterile surface for first aid or food prep. Shape into a makeshift bowl, scoop, or funnel need a signal mirror. Polish it up and flash it in the sun. Building a solar oven? It's a ready-made reflective panel. Need to keep your tools dry? Flip it over and you've got an elevated platform in wet or muddy ground. And don't overlook defense and alarm systems. Tie one to a string and you've got a DIY noise trap that rattles when tripped, alerting you to movement outside your tent or room. Aluminum trays are also barter gold. You can cut one into several smaller panels and trade them as cooking sheets, signal tools, or improvised insulation. This isn't just bakeware, it's a dollar store survival kit in disguise. Survival is simpler than you think. Let's face it, the world feels shakier than ever. Prices keep rising, storms are getting stronger, and the supply chain can fall apart overnight. But preparing for chaos doesn't have to mean spending thousands on high-tech gear or joining a prepper cult. Sometimes it's the dollar store items, the stuff sitting quietly on aisle 6, that end up saving your family. We just covered 7 items that cost less than a coffee, but could be worth their weight in gold when things go sideways. These tools won't just help you survive. They'll help you stay in control when everyone else is panicking, and maybe you already have some of these in your home. If so, you're ahead of the game. If not, a quick trip to the dollar store could be one of the smartest things you do this week. But here's the real takeaway. Prepping isn't about fear. It's about freedom. It's about having what you need when help isn't coming. And it's about protecting the people you love without going broke in the process. So before you click away, ask yourself this. How many of these items are already in your home? And how many would you wish you had once it's too late? If this video gave you even one idea, hit that subscribe button. Every week, we share real-world survival tips for regular folks. Not doomsday fantasy, just common sense for uncertain times. You've got this. Stay ready. Stay smart.